Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Tawnya Love Show. I hope everyone is enjoying their weekend. It is very nice and beautiful and sunny where I'm at in the Northwest, and I hope it's lovely where you all are. Um, Today I had a yoga teacher training, and it was really awesome because one of the students had injured her neck and she just had a lot of tension in her upper shoulders and her neck. And so I was just really listening to Spirit guide that class. And we ended up having like 3 hours of restorative yoga and a lot of like heart opening stretches and really releasing tension in the upper back. And it was beautiful because afterwards she was just like, oh, I just feel so much better. This is just what I needed. And she was telling me how she's in this part of her life where she's really learning to honor her own needs, what she really needs, if she needs quiet time, if she needs to move more gently and slowly compared to people in her life that may be very busy. And, she's a mom, she got a young kid, and like, how do you balance all that? And so we got into this discussion about that. And she's been someone that I've been working with for a while. And I feel already this week, I felt Spirit inspiring me to speak today on self-love, and we're going to get into different aspects of that. But today when I was working with her in that yoga training, I just felt like there was so much confirmation of how much this is needed. And maybe moms and dads out there that work hard and they just feel like they're doing all they can to pay their bills and just to get things done on time. And you can get caught up sometimes in this busyness where we end up being exhausted. And sometimes what we really need, instead of being more busy, especially if we're like in fear of financial support, let's say, rather than get really busy, it would be much more powerful to go into a place of stillness and presence with your source energy and connect to the energy of abundance, connect to that feeling of ease in your body, and allow everything vibrationally to come to you in a more gentle and powerful way. And so this is something I practice in my life, and I love teaching various workshop topics that always come right back to laws of attraction. And, when we really realize that we're vibrational beings, if we're putting out there's not enough time, I'm always busy, no one respects me, this energy we put out, then that's what we're going to keep drawing into our movie. And we're going to keep having new characters show up to play out those parts. And so today I'm going to touch back and forth on different topics connected to self-love. And I feel like if we can keep it simple in anything you're going through, those of you that are tuning in, thank you, first of all, for joining us live. I really appreciate you connecting with us live. But if we can all be very simple instead of go into the complexity of our ego, it just loves to make everything complex and like complicated instead of just look for the simplicity. And simplicity is always guiding us to look at the vibrational alignment. And I was telling one of my students in my yoga teacher training, they were like, well, how do you, like, what's so important about spiritual alignment? How do you know if you're spiritually aligned or if you're not? And I look at it this way. If I have something off in my hip and I can't put pressure on my knee, I have to go to the chiropractor and they're going to crack my body and try to get my spine back into an alignment. So physically, there's a lot of pain I'm going to feel in my body when something's tweaked and it's out of alignment. If we look at machinery, we have a car and it's out of alignment. We might be riding on the freeway and we let our hands off the steering wheel and it's going to take us right off the road because it's out of alignment and it needs an alignment so it can stay on the path. It can stay in that, direction where it should be going instead of just going to the left or the right or whatever. And so this is very physical ways we can see the importance of alignment. When we look into spiritual alignment, it doesn't mean a rigid dogma, like I have to go find the way, the religion, or the spiritual group, or, this certain healing method that is the way. It's more about your alignment with your source. So your way, whatever is benefiting you in this now moment, whatever is helping each of us individually connect with our source and feel our confidence. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out with ease. I feel trust, I feel love and support, then that would be a beneficial way for you. But your way, let's say that you really feel that eating vegetarian diet is so important for you and it's helped your body feel better and you just feel like you're thriving, your cells are thriving, you drink green smoothies all the time, and I love them, I drink them. But if your way is working for you, it doesn't mean that we need to project and tell someone else this is what you have to eat. Like everyone has to drink green smoothies. I do feel they would benefit pretty much just about anyone unless you have allergies to some kind of greens. But my point is, if we get rigid and we're projecting, that's when we lose our spiritual alignment. So let's say if I'm a spiritual healer and I'm like lashing out at people because they're not doing it the way, then really I'm losing my alignment by doing that. And so the highest focal point for every individual on the planet is to find our own alignment. And we know we're in that place because we're in a place of ease. We feel love, we feel compassion, we are in a space of power, self empowerment, self realization. And we don't really need to go and control other people's energy because when we're really in alignment, we see that everyone is finding their own way. Like the people tuning in on this show, I know at some level are drawn to my awareness and my consciousness, and that you in some way resonate with what I say, or you wouldn't tune in. And if you aren't watching my show, or let's say some of you watch my show and then you're like, oh, she sucks, I don't like her, that's fine because you're not necessarily the people that I'm meant to connect with. And there may be some other teacher that will deeply connect with you and you will resonate with them better. So there's no really good or bad or right or wrong, but there is a such thing as alignment. And our alignment, we know because we feel good. We feel like we're thriving. We feel love, peace. When we're in a space where we feel anger, where we feel hatred, where we're wanting to get vengeance, where we're, in that very heavy vibration of lack, this is when you know you're out of alignment. It's very simple to tune in and just think, do I feel fear right now or do I feel love? And if you're feeling fear and you're going in a direction in that fear energy, that's what I would catch. I would caution you to catch that and to tune into that. Like, what is this? Why am I choosing my choices from this space of fear? And look at how it's creating situations in my life. Is it creating beauty? Is it creating drama? Is it creating connection? Or is it creating isolation and separation? And this is where each of us can find our own alignment. And what I say, one of the things I encourage my clients when they come to me is, all of my clients have things going on in their personal life. They all are, or they wouldn't be coming to get some help. So some of them may have stuff in their marriage, or they might have drama at work, or maybe there's family members that aren't really respecting them. But the most important thing for each of you is to realize that your power lies in your awareness and your alignment with your source. Your power will never be as effective if you're focusing on how you got to get everybody else to change. If I could just get my mom to respect me or get my husband to understand me, and you can try to project that sense of control, but as soon as we start to do that, that's when we actually lose our alignment with our source. So the highest way to vibrationally inspire others into alignment is living that ourself. So if I feel good and I take good care of myself and I love myself, it's going to be really easy for me to inspire others into that space just from that alignment. But let's say I don't feel very good. I feel kind of crappy. I eat really crappy. I'm smoking a cigarette and I'm telling people about spiritual advice and how they need to live their life. I'm getting drunk later that night and talking gossipy about all my people in the world that I don't think are aligned. And that is actually how we're losing our alignment. So the most important and powerful focal point for each of us is our own alignment with our source, our own sense of peace, love, and connection. If I feel present and I love myself, it's going to be really easy for me to observe other people's misaligned behavior. They may be really suffering around me, but I don't need to take that personally. I can just send love to them. I see where they're at in their movie. I understand that this is exactly where they need to be in the dance. They need to be in this situation so that this pain can wake them up. They need to go through this loss. They need to be in their ego and just go out of control and lose everything so that they surrender and let spirit help them come into their alignment again. So when we look out, we can see various levels of where humans are on the spectrum of consciousness and how aligned we're living or not. But the most powerful place that we can be is in the space of our own alignment and loving all others as they find their own. And this also means when we're in self-love, we don't let other people just come and like push us around, we can love them and we can see that they need to go through drama to heal, but that drama doesn't need to come into our sacred space, for example. It doesn't need to come and touch my life personally. So this is something that we all will learn as far as balancing. And when we're in a place of healing and self-love, there's a lot of aspects to that. As a healer, there's clients I work with over, the course of years here and there because they're working on this process of shedding old belief systems. It's if you kind of think of yourself like the center of an onion is your soul and your realization, your self-realization, your truth, and all these layers upon layers have been packed tightly around you from birth on. And these are belief systems, these are rigid, limitations and ways that humans have projected their power over you. So there comes a time for every soul when there's like a cracking happens, and it's kind of like your onion gets dropped and it cracks, and those layers start kind of wanting to shed. And this is it's a very individual process. No one can force anybody in that journey. And it's this gentle process of peeling back those layers of pain and woundedness and cellular memory and all that shedding that needs to happen for a soul to come back to full self-realization of its alignment with its source. And the journey that each of us have walked through has been very strategically chosen from our souls to go through things so we would learn, so that we would call back out for spirit. And I feel that no matter who you are listening, when your soul's calling to you. When I work with my clients, I'll say, what is your soul wanting? Because your soul is calling all the time for some form of expansion. It wants to go and explore, expand, experience. It's got this desire that it's calling for, but your ego part of yourself, the shadow self or the pain body, may be very rigidly trying to control that. Like, no, we can't go and be free. We have to be under this rigid rule system or we'll lose all control. And so fear ultimately will run that human's life, and the soul will keep calling for freedom and expansion. So there's an example how each of you, if you tune into what is my soul saying to me, like what part of my soul is ready to take flight, it's ready to expand, it's ready to explore new territory, go into uncharted places to like understand and learn new lessons and new wisdom. This is something that will never stop because that's evolution. In essence, your soul is constantly in a state of evolution. And when we're trying to suppress that and we have rigid dogma, rigid belief systems, then we really get in the way of our soul's expansion. That is something that could happen so naturally if we got out of our own way. So one of the things, when I was inspired to do the show today on this self-love topic, I was going to call it Was Always You. And I heard this song by Maroon 5, and it's a cute song, and my beloved actually was like, that makes me think of you, baby. And so I was listening to the song, I was like, aw. But then as I was laying there listening to the song, it's really about a man realizing that this woman was always the one for him, and that he sees it now, even though he's been through struggle, he knows it was always her. And this is the human aspect of the song, but a lot of times when I'm listening to music, I'll hear it not just from like a physical, materialistic love, like human love, but I'll hear the song as if spirit were speaking it to me, and if source were saying, hey, it was always you. And so it just brought this different perspective of when we understand the importance of self-love and we choose to come back to that alignment with our source, we'll realize very swiftly, we'll awaken to the truth that it was always you. It was always you that you were waiting for. You were not really waiting for all these other people to love you and appreciate you and see how awesome you are and believe in you and trust in you and, put their faith in you. What really the deepest aspects I feel every soul is going through a process of is to come to this place of self-realization and realize that what you've been waiting for is you. You have been waiting for your own power to show up and to fully align with that power. You've been waiting to access your own courage and to take a stand on things that matter to you. You've been waiting to actually be authentic, like actually show the world who you really are instead of who you think the world wants you to be. You've been waiting this whole time just to really love yourself and to realize, you know what? I'm enough. I don't really have to do anything to prove anything to any of you because I know I love myself and I know I'm pretty freaking awesome and I'm a miracle and I love myself. And what is amazing about that is it's not narcissism to get to this place where you really deeply appreciate and love yourself and see yourself as the miracle you are. The narcissistic tendencies are completely behaviors that come from suppression of true authenticity. So when someone's very obsessively, into their looks, or they're obsessively into if people, are giving them attention, in essence, they are the loudest beings that are showing you how insecure they really are. Because if we're confident and secure, we don't really need everybody to be looking at us. We don't need our picture posted on our Facebook like 20,000 times, all the selfies we can take. And I'm not insulting people who like to take pictures of themselves. If you like that, go for it. My point is, if we're seeking that attention and we want people that we don't really even hardly know to just like our picture and comment on how hot we are and how awesome, that's a shallow version of what we're deeply looking for is our self-love, our self-approval. If we truly loved ourselves, I kind of look at this as a healer, people that are very broken in whatever way, meaning broken meaning out of alignment and causing deep damage to themselves. And I've had people tell me, I've met friends, back in the day that they're like, "Oh, Tawnya, we're going to this festival, this rave, and I just get a vibe. I'm like, I'm not really into that. Like, have fun though." And they're like, "Oh, you don't understand. It's like sexual freedom," and they're trying to explain to me like we should all just go be so free and sexual and just be with anyone. And I observe it, and what I see is that these humans are deeply wounded and they're deeply hurting, and they all have their journey to wake up to that. But the woundedness is causing them to go and be so open with strangers and people they don't know because they're wanting to be free. But what I see from my observation of that behavior is that they're very enslaved by that need for just sexual connection because there's a deeper craving they have. They deeply want to realign with their source. They deeply want to feel safe and loved and supported. And so my observation of that is the humans that live in that way, they're the most insecure people I've seen. They constantly are hungry for more and more attention. I need more people looking at me. I need more people desiring me. And it ends up being this tricky little seduction thing that happens where we end up in a shadow energy. And maybe we went there thinking we were going to be free and liberated. But when we go there and we're actually losing that very freedom and liberation, to love ourselves, and we now crave everyone's approval, we crave all these people's attention. I see some of this as some of the deepest sexual woundedness on our planet. And when we look at society, our music, if you listen to the music of this generation, it's telling you what the woundedness is. Watch a lot of the films that are coming out, a lot of sexual woundedness. I see a lot of, in the healing community, I see a lot of people, wanting to do workshops and kind of like heal this. But even in that realm, I see humans that are still very wounded, trying to figure out how to heal it. But while they're offering workshops to heal it, they're actually wounding themselves further. So something that we need to tune into is how do we get back to that place where we're authentically loving self? And this is not needing anybody's approval. This is not needing anybody to be your fans, your friends, your followers. It's about you being authentic to you, being true to you. If it's like the mother that comes into yoga and she's so exhausted and she's like, I just want to rest, but everybody wants me to do stuff and help them, and I feel like I have to help everybody. And in her level, that's her form of enslavement, is if I feel like I have to please everybody, then I put my own needs last, and then I suffer and I feel exhausted. And not long after that, I'm going to feel resentful, I'm going to feel angry, I'm going to be pissed off, and I'll be, lashing out at my family. And then I'm going to feel guilt and shame because I lost my shit. And so now I'm going to go self-loathe. And so you guys see the pattern. This is what a lot of humans do. But the way we nip that in the bud is we have to start actually claiming our time for ourselves. And that doesn't mean we go and lose ourselves in a big community and we need to have all these people accept us and approve of us. In essence, it's pulling away from all that. It's pulling into a place where you absolutely feel comfortable in your own skin, where you do not need anybody's approval, and you really move to your own beat. You flow, you move in a place of authenticity. And I feel that is what we're each on this planet to learn, is to come back to that, to remember who we are, and to stop being followers, and to stop you know, lashing out and gossiping about people that aren't doing it our way. It's ridiculous and it's such a waste of your energy. So if you guys like that and you want to keep being dramatic, go for it. That's how you're going to learn. But if those of you that are tuning in are like, I'm kind of exhausted, Tanya, I kind of am really tired of drama. I'm really tired of pettiness. I'm tired of just exhausting myself and overextending myself. I'm tired of overcommitting myself to people and events that I don't even want to do. I'm tired of doing things from obligation and guilt. If that's where you are, then that's the best way. That's how Spirit led you here today to listen to this message, because at the deepest level, that is something that you have a right to. You have permission. But each of us have to get back to a place where we give ourselves permission again to be authentic. And that is going to take patience and gentleness, because so many have been taught to go against themselves and to not love themselves, to not honor how they actually feel, to go do for everybody else and put your own needs last. And you're never going to find joy from that. I promise you, you will never find joy. You will temporarily have a satisfaction of that person like complimenting you, stroking your ego because you did something for them. And, oh, thank you. I'm so glad you did that because no one else would do it. You're an angel. You're a lifesaver. And if you seek that approval and that attention, you'll completely put your own needs last just to get that little stroke of the ego. And that's really not going to make you feel good long term. I'm going to pause for a second and see if anybody has any questions or comments. If you
Oh,
guys, what were you going to say, Amnon?
I was saying Cherokee said, went through a DNA activation in March. I'm stuck between my fourth and fifth dimension. So Ron is saying, stuck? What's that like? He said, I'm a type 2 indigo, 24 strand DNA. And Ron said, oh, okay, that's deep stuff. And he said, I look it up to get more understanding of DNA strands and type 2 indigo. And he's asking, what do you feel Tanya is? What makes a type 2 indigo? Eye color? And Cherokee says, an anchor. Said, I could go deeper, but it's weird for people that are in 3 dimension. And Ron said, understood. And Cherokee says, no, she's been in the 5th dimension for a long time.
Who, Cherokee?
You.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, so there's a place where we could go to. For one thing, one of the things I would encourage Cherokee to do is to really, though I so feel compassion for the journey she's on to understand a lot of her own soul. But one of the things we got to be careful of that can start to create complexity in our movie is when we start to put labels and attachments and we try to, like, I got to understand myself and I need to have a label and put myself on this shelf. And then now when I'm on this shelf, I can't go on that shelf because I'm this. And what I would encourage you to do, Cherokee, that will get you unstuck is to let go of all that. Let go of all the attachments, all the labels, and just let yourself feel very anchored to this planet, like very grounded and present. If you're into yoga, practicing yoga, going outside and really standing barefoot in the grass and just really grounding your energy, very much being anchored to the earth. And then when you're channeling, like where you're sensing what dimensional plane I am connected with, that realm of consciousness will become just your natural state. And so if you're not trying to deny the third dimension or try to make yourself hurry into another one, in essence, you will totally just vibrationally rise because you're not trying to make anything happen. And so sometimes the trick is when we're getting information, we're getting education on things, we like, whoa, that sounds awesome. Like, what is that? I want to know more about it and learn about it. But be very mindful of attaching yourself to something that says, this is what I am, and I have to say this. Any more than you would get attached to if someone said you're ADHD or you are bipolar or you are depressed. If we get an attachment to a label, we start to actually keep ourselves stuck intellectually, because in truth you're not stuck. In truth your soul is expanding and it's vibrating and it's beautiful and it's happening naturally. There's nothing you have to even do to make it happen. You just need to let go of control, let go of trying to get somewhere else or trying to get away from somewhere and just completely be here, be present, be completely centered and at ease in your physical form. Because when we are channeling and accessing higher consciousness, the most magical way we're going to powerfully use that in that wisdom is when we're very grounded and present here. If I didn't feel like I wanted to be here because I'm like, oh, this third dimension sucks, I got to get out of here, then in essence, I'm going to create resistance. And that's going to start causing me that feeling of stuckness because I'm putting out an energy of resistance instead of just being grounded and centered. I'm peaceful, I'm present. I don't need any attachments. I open up to my source. What do you have to say? How may I serve? How may I assist? What would you like to speak through me? And that is seriously, it's the simplest thing. But I see, like, on the journey, when a lot of souls are in this place where we're wanting to understand, we get very spiritually hungry and we want to understand it all intellectually. And so I sense that's where you are right now, is you're in an intellectual space with that. But as you just let go of the control and you let go of the labeling, it's going to help you actually expand. You're going to feel this expansiveness that won't need to be limited. It won't need to be controlled or put a label on it. And so kind of explore how you feel about that. But that's my intuitive nudge to help you in that situation that you're in. Any comments on that or any questions that she has?
Not yet.
Okay, process that. And that's, that brings up a topic when I've had different clients that will come and they really are spiritually hungry. And I remember being there. So I am not mocking anyone in that space of like, oh my God, I'm awakening and I want to know the freaking answers, because there's this excitement that happens when a soul opens their eyes and they start to really understand who they are. They're this soul essence. They're this vast consciousness. Oh my God, that's awesome. And we get hungry. We want to read every book on past life regression and every book on, shamanism, or I want to know this and that. And we can do that to almost a detriment that it will become like our new addiction. We're like not at ease. And now, because we're not at ease with what we're not at ease with. So we're researching it. And when we can get to a place, I feel that there is such wisdom in sometimes pushing all the books away and just being in meditation and just being still, going on a walk, go sit on a boat with your beloved and fish and just listen to the birds and just listen to spirit and feel the vibrational wisdom rising up in you, because this is where we're all moving towards, is this old third dimensional realm, which we are in a third dimension. There is this physical, I can knock on my computer, it's solid. But as we are accessing this higher consciousness, we're accessing a higher realm of, consciousness in another dimensional space, but we still are here. We're still in this physical dimension. This is why we chose human form, or whatever form was chosen. Some animals choose an animal form, but we chose it so we could experience, we could feel things, we could feel emotion. It takes us longer to get places. We have to walk there. We can't teleport, but there's a beauty in why we chose to be in the form, because we want, in essence, to slow down. We want to feel the experience. We want to taste that chocolate and that raspberry. We want to experience that sensation. Whereas in the spiritual realms, when we're accessing consciousness and we're in meditation or in dream state, we can't really solidly grasp things. It's moving very quickly. We can jump from here to there. We can move all over the place. And that can feel very beautiful. And to a soul that's in its human form, that's not really accepting that form, that can feel like you're stuck. Like, oh, this body, I just want to get out of here. But if you just honor the fact that your soul chose that body, and if you could just really ground into it and really accept your body, accept it, like, okay, this is my new outfit. Let me get to know this outfit. Let me love it, while I also remember I am higher consciousness. I am one with the divine. I am intelligent. I am infinitely, intelligent. I have unlimited potential. And we can access that consciousness and then let it come in and benefit the body, benefit the form. So if we're trying to deny form, we feel stuck because we're going to try to get away. It's kind of like, if people aren't happy in their job or relationship, they want to get out of there. So it starts to create tension, and then they notice like the relationship gets more and more tense, or the situation at work gets more and more stressful, and they're just more pissed. And in essence, when that soul's trying to get away, they're creating resistance, and it's actually creating an experience of that resistance. Vibrationally, there's going to be more irritation, lack of communication. This fallout will happen. So, if we want to gently leave anything, even if it's our body, if we're on the deathbed and we're ready to get out of the form, just that deep breath of surrender and being present to allowing the divine to take us out if we're ready is much more powerful than I'm trying to get away. I don't want to die. I don't want to be in that place. So then there's fear. I don't want to be in this relationship. I got to get away from here. Resistance. So if we can get into that place where we're really tuning in, am I in a place of resistance? Am I trying to get away? Or am I at ease? And just be honest with yourself. If you're not, that's okay. Be honest. Take a breath, close your eyes. Do I feel at ease? Am I at peace? And if not, start to affirm that. Start to, if you're into yoga, I love yoga. I feel like it's so beneficial to help humans that are very much either in their physical form and too attached to their bodies and their minds, or they're very much in their spirit and they're not grounding their energy in their body. This practice will benefit all of those situations. And meditation is our accessing point where we channel the divine. This is how we know self. And when I know I am one with source, I am in my alignment. There's nothing wrong. There's no dis-ease. There's no resistance. There's just complete surrender and presence. And this is the most powerful place that each of us has an opportunity to align with every day, every conversation. When we're in yoga, just listening deeply in meditation, we have this ability to connect to higher consciousness in a way that will really benefit our life. And then we become messengers of that wisdom to help others. And we inspire them just because we actually are understanding that and we're living that. Does that make
All
sense?
right. Cherokee adds, my source is Ariel and Metatron.
So
She's
she's very connected with those angels.
Yeah, she said she's on the right track though. If you're not of a high vibration people, you will never understand this.
Well,
And I just want to make one observation here.
yeah.
When I said hello and Cherokee says, "Hey, can't talk much, driving."
Ah.
I don't want you texting and driving.
Yeah, Cherokee. No, no, no. Yeah, and in essence, let's be honest with that moment. Texting and driving, talking about the spiritual wisdom, and not really presently, maybe as present in the vehicle driving, that's a sign. And that actually, not saying there's anything going to go wrong with that, but this is where sometimes we can be kind of so in this vibration that we're not really grounded in the solid physical reality that we're in. And we want to really balance the two. If I feel like when I'm in this physical world, I'm very present, then I'm going to be much more aware and present in this dimension. But at the same time, I can access higher consciousness that can guide me and help me foresee what's coming, help me kind of navigate in a much bigger, expanded perspective than I would have if I just thought I was Tawnya in a little body. And so a lot of what she's talking about is when you're getting into this place where you're opening up to the divine, Source starts to channel this higher wisdom and understanding. And what she's talking about, DNA stranding and all that, that's the stuff that I'm working on in the auric clearings is the human DNA strands actually shifting. Our cells are shifting. We are becoming more light, higher frequency, higher vibration. That is very true. But just, that, understand, yeah, that's happening, and just be here present. Just really be solidly present and grounded. And I just feel it's going to help you with that feeling of stuckness because there's almost like I can see people kind of in a hurry, like, I need to get enlightened. I need to get more enlightened than they are. I need to be, in this certain understanding more than they are. And this can be a sneaky way our ego can come in and kind of cause us suffering and cause us to not really be present. And if we're not really honoring that we need to just be present and be here, and we get caught up even in our higher consciousness understanding, and we kind of, let's say, daydreaming. We can daydream of what we wish the world were. That's beautiful. And practice that. Practice that in meditation. See what you're ready to bring into birth. See what you're ready to birth into creation. You're ready to manifest. Metatron's amazing angel to work with on manifestation. But at the same time, we want to be here and we want to channel and access that, like you said, anchoring it. You're anchoring that consciousness into the physical dimension, and then you take action to create that change. So if a soul is really more connected and they like being in their, crown chakra and they love meditation, but maybe they're not really in their body, they're not taking good care of their body, they're kind of wanting to get out of it, they will feel a sense of suffering. If a soul is only in their physical body and they're an athlete and they're running, they're working their hard, body is pounding them hard, but there's no honor to higher consciousness, there's no connecting to source, they just deny that that could even be out there, there's going to be suffering. If a soul is very intellectual, I just watched the movie, oh, what was it called, Ron? If you think of it, Ron, type it in. It was a story about Stephen Stephen Hawkingson, is that his name?
Hawking.
Um,
Hawking.
Hawking. Okay, that's right. Stephen Hawking, and a very intelligent human. But what an amazing story of how his body just fails him, and he just has no control over his body, but brilliant mind. So this is another example of looking at that soul. There's things going on in there. There's soul contracts he's got going on. There's choices that he called forth for obstacles of his journey. But then there's this deep intelligence and an expansiveness to the universe, but cannot really access it into the physical body. And that could show that there is some disruption there where there's not a grounding of it. It's almost like an escapism energy, and it's actually creating a physical problem or situation. So,
The theory of everything.
the theory of everything. Thank you. It was a really great film if you're interested in watching it. But back to self love, all of this that we're talking about, we will strengthen through self love and through practicing listening. Archangel Ariel, Archangel Metatron, those are angels that I had coming to me, calling me into service. And they are amazing angels. But our source consciousness, it's even bigger than that. They are the highest aspects of ourself. These angelic beings are helping us remember who we really are, but we're not meant to like just disappear into invisibility unless that's what your goal is, and then I guess you're going to do that. But I feel we're here to actually be in a physical plane and experience, but keep our radio tuned in to Angel 101. We're listening to Mothership and listening to the guidance while we walk around and navigate this planet, and while we bring healing to this planet, while we bring wisdom and awareness to the humans on this planet. But we have to be very grounded and centered, take good care of our spacesuit, because if we don't, it's just like if you watch a space film and they show the people out in space and their suit gets messed up and they can't breathe, they die. This is our spacesuit. Our human body is our spacesuit, and if we don't take good care of it, I've seen spiritual people who say they're spiritual leaders or psychics who take terrible care of their bodies. They don't nurture their bodies. They don't really love themselves. But then they're trying to tell everybody else how to live because they have understanding in an intellectual way from angels of what we're here to understand. But we really, the highest alignment, again, is us aligning with that. Us, mind, body, soul, in alignment, us taking good care of the physical form, us taking great care of the mind, being mindful. I had a mom ask me, can you just talk to the people on your show, or can you talk publicly about these drugs? Because a lot of these teenagers are feeling really guided to go do these hallucinogenic drugs and things. And she was really concerned. And I was like, you know what? I totally hear you on that. I have never practiced them. I do not practice, working with ayahuasca or peyote or there's so many of them now, mushrooms and different drugs. Some kids are doing like ecstasy and acid and all this stuff. And from the healer perspective and from tuning into angels and source, what I get is that these things are completely not our power. And what happens is when souls, even on a spiritual path, want to feel justified in their addiction to something, then they will suddenly say, I'm on a fast, like I want to be a breatharian and I'm just going to breathe air. And that's great. But when I watch them, I'm just speaking from actual experience. When I watch humans in the space, they deny their bodies any food. They deny their bodies any kind of pleasure, any kind of freedom. They're here in the form to experience. So then they have a shadow side and they lash out. And then when they come back, they overeat everything and they kind of do crazy behind the scenes behavior sexually and things like that because you're suppressing a very normal function and need that your body has. And so if we're doing hallucinogenics and our goal is to connect with source and we're like, wow, when I did those mushrooms, I really think I saw the angels out in the trees. And maybe you did see things in a new perspective than what you see when you're in your physical body and you're very solid and grounded. But the trick is you can now become addicted to that feeling and you need that thing to access source. And I'm going to say to everyone listening, 100% that is not necessary. Because if that was necessary, then I would have to be doing it. And I channel angels all the time, and I channel source all the time, and I'm listening and tuning in all the time. And I do not use anything except for meditation. I practice stillness and listening, deep listening. The reason so many of the young kids are so drawn to these drugs and things is because they've been raised in this generation of quick fix. They want to get information and go and research something, Google it. Boom, got the information. I want to have something, for dinner, deliver it. Boom, it's on its way. I want to date somebody. Let me go find somebody online. Oh, there's my date. Everything is like quick fix in this society right now, and the danger to that is that some of the most beautiful experiences we'll have, an artist that creates a beautiful masterpiece, it did not happen quickly. A mother that births a child, it's a process. You cannot speed that up. A relationship that's truly strong at its foundation often started as a friendship that was, cultivated through the years into a beautiful, deeper relationship. So some of what we deeply need and want at a soul level is the practice of presence and patience. That's what our souls really want to remember. But a lot of us have been so trained in ego to want the quick fix that we completely deny the part of the journey that is actually why we came. We came here for the journey. So if we're here and we're wanting the quick fix to spirituality, we want to take a drug, we want to experience, man, blow my mind, I need an experience, keep me entertained. That's your ego. And your ego is never going to be satisfied. So now that quick fix that you're doing with mushrooms is going to lead to something bigger and bigger. And this is very dangerous because the way I look at it, if we honor body, mind, and spirit, the mind is like the motherboard of our computer. And inside the mind is how, if we keep that all fresh and healed and healthy and whole, we open the moonroof of the mind, we access higher consciousness. If we scramble the brain and we start to disrupt our motherboard, so imagine you just bang with the hammer on your keyboard of your computer, and then you're like, shit, the J and the K do not work anymore, and I cannot write a sentence, I can't complete something because there's this glitch, or suddenly I drop my computer and now it's doing this weird stuff and it just randomly will shut off and things will happen. This is what happens to humans that mess with drugs, that put things into their brains, that disrupt their brains in ways that they have no clue of how much that could really be affecting them. And they do it because they want a quick fix to source. But really, the fastest alignment with your source, that breath, connection, listening, presence, meditation. And it may sound boring to many of you because you've been so used to the fast lane. So pulling off to the country road seems kind of boring to someone who's on the speedy raceway of life. But the speedy raceway of life has its consequence. You stay on there too long, you get exhausted, you burn out, other cars come and hit you or run you off the road. It's very competitive. It's a lot of chaos. And pulling off to the side on that country road and pulling over and going for a walk and then sitting in front of a pond and just feeling the wind and listening to the birds, and suddenly you know what to do in your life. You suddenly have greater realization. That's what I'm talking about. And that is what each of us at a deeper place are really calling out for. And these quick fixes are not going to help us. And we have to really be mindful not to become attached to the tools, whether it's crystals, whether it's a healer, whether it's a book that we're reading and we learn something, whether it's astrology or astronomy or anything. If we're getting addicted to something and then we deny everything else because this is all that is, we get attached to our crystal. Oh my God, I'm having a shitty interview. I left my crystal at home. The truth is, the most powerful part of your day is from your own alignment with your source. And your own alignment with source comes from your own confidence, your own peace, and your own presence in your own being. And so if you're on your way to an interview and you're very present and you're maybe no music and you're just breathing and you're just like, angels, I'm calling you in. Universe, support me. I'm visualizing how powerful I will be, an asset to this company. I am so excited and eager for my new position. And if this is for the highest good for my life to have this job, I am ready. And I say thank you and yes. And then you just walk in with your confidence. You're not trying to impress them. You're not trying to tell them what they want to hear. You're actually in such a present space that you're really paying attention to everything in that moment. What are they saying? Do I even want to work for this company? Do these people have integrity? Does this feel good to me? Does this feel bad to me? This is where it's really about you. It's about you loving you and you coming to a place of such presence that no one's tricking you anymore because you're not seduced by anything. You're right there present. And if that job is for you, it's going to be for you. And if it's not and it doesn't work out, if you really believe, you thank the universe for opening up that door if it was meant to be. And if it's not, close it. Then take that as an answer and honor it and stop beating your head against the door. Don't go home and go into shame and self loathe. All of this is coming from the shadow ego. And the shadow ego is the pain body aspect of you. It's the pain you've been through, the wounds, the cellular memory that causes you suffering. That is the part of the ego we want to abandon. We want to let it go. And then the part of our healthy ego is our personality, it's our identity. I am Tawnya Love. This is an aspect of the source, the infinite divine source, consciousness streaming in, trickling into a body that will be expressed through Tawnya Love. That is pretty much that healthy ego is me knowing my environment, what I like, what I don't like, what makes me happy, what I don't really enjoy. That's the healthy aspect. And there's so much controversy about ego lately, and I feel like there's a lot of people confused. It doesn't mean you deny your own individuality and you go blend in with a bunch of other people because you're all afraid to accept that you have a individual personality. It's more being awake and aware about the painful aspects that you carry cellularly, and are you ready to clear them? And as a healer, that is exactly what I specialize in, is helping souls tune in to that subconscious stuff that they don't even know it's there, but they're behaving from it. If a girl that's been sexually abused doesn't know how much that's affecting her, she still lashes out and she hurts herself and lets people use her body and needs attention and wants more and more sexual attention and will create from that pain body. And once she can heal that and understand how much that was affecting her, she clears that from her frequency, her vibration shifts. Now she starts drawing in loving, supportive people that actually see her as a whole being, not just for her body. And so this is like an aspect of what I'm talking about with ego, is the pain body part of ourself is what we're here to clear. That is the part of the self-love. Every one of you listening has to do your part of that clearing. I cannot make any of you do it. Even though I offer every week that I'm available to help, I can't make anyone step in. I saw a thing on Facebook the other day and it said basically that the teacher opens the door, but the student must step in. And that is so true. If you have teachers in your life, you have aligned ones that come in, your angels bring you guidance. Your angels say, go work with this healer. Or your angels say, pay attention to this healer. She's out of alignment or he's out of alignment. Pay attention to what you feel. Do you feel enslaved? Do you feel like there's honor here? This is a big part of the journey that all of us have to go through in our own individual way so that we return to a place of self-love. And you're gonna all have to go through it. So the way I look at it is, if you want to save time, start the process today. Start looking at your life with awareness. Start really being honest with yourself. Start seeing yourself clearly. Stop running from yourself. Stop running from your shadow. Turn and look at that shadow and face it and realize that it's got no power except for the power you give it. And that power is from our imagination because we're so afraid to tune into it. And as we tune into it, it disappears. And then we realize it was always us. It was always you. Source was always here available. Like Dorothy, you always held the power, Dorothy, or whatever. I can't remember exactly the words. The power was always within you. And she clicks her heels and goes back. She basically had that power the whole time, but that journey she went through was to learn that. And that's just like every one of us. We're all on the journey together, but individually we're going through our own process to self-realize. And individually we will find people that are in alignment that we love hanging out with, and they just make us feel like, wow, I feel like I really am seen and honored. And this person really calls out my stuff too. Like they don't just flatter me and stroke my ego, but they actually help me see more clearly. Or, I'm at this place where nobody even likes me and I have to compete to get the attention, and I have to like show more cleavage so people will notice me. And these bitches, they don't even appreciate anything about me, or these guys just use me. Look at your vibrational frequency and look at the power is not about them. These are just characters you've drawn into your movie to wake you up. And so when we're in this situation, we can really start to own it and see ourselves clearly. We will start to heal in amazing and profound ways. And like I said, we're all on the journey to do this. So you avoiding it for another lifetime, or you avoiding it for 10 more years, like, I don't want to know the truth, angels, just stay away. Like, I like this job. I like getting drunk. Leave me alone. It's really going to serve you to listen, because your angels and guides love you deeper than you love yourselves. And that's the saddest part, is that all of you that are struggling in any way, it is because you are not loving yourself. And your angels love you unconditionally, but they're going to bring you the truth to help you see where you learned to reject yourself. Where did you learn to start denying yourself? Where did you learn that you weren't enough? When was that? And if each of you listen, close your eyes and, well, unless you're driving, please don't close your eyes, Cherokee. But close your eyes and just tune in, like, when's that first memory that comes to me where I felt I wasn't enough? And just tune into that. And if you guys have to play this show again and listen to this again, tune in and go and visualize seeing that child, that inner child. Hold that child. Let them know you love them. Hug them. Let your mind see that visual of you holding them, taking that child in and loving it and saying, it's all going to be okay. We are going to be fine. We made it. And this will start to heal the inner child woundedness that is acting out in each of you at a subconscious level, because you're maybe not understanding how much when you were 4 and mom and dad argued all the time about the divorce, and you took it as you weren't good enough because dad won't come see you anymore. This is the stuff that creates cellular memory. And then the rest of the life of that child, as she grows into a woman, she's promiscuous. She lets men use her. She's always hungry for attention and love. No one can ever satisfy it. It's from a deeper cellular memory wound. And it's absolutely possible to heal it. But the way to heal it is you have to have either your own awareness, full awareness, to help your angels help you heal it, or you need to go to healers you trust and have them help you with that process. Because it's going to continue to happen. It doesn't matter if you're 10, 20, 80 years old, if that unconscious cellular memory is still there and you're not acknowledging it and healing it, it's going to keep acting out through you. So I will pause. It is 5:55,
Yes,
and
it is.
I'm gonna read a card to you, but let me know if anybody else commented real quick.
Let's see. Ron was saying, oh no, no, never mind. That's about the computer. But I was gonna say, I
Yeah,
grew up with all those names of angels, and
yeah,
it's Ariel, Shmuel, Gabriel, and these are biblical names, and
yes.
they always end with L at the end, which
Isn't
means
it? I've kind of questioned, like, how come they're all like Emmanuel,
yeah,
Haniel?
that L means God.
Oh, nice.
But
That's beautiful.
Metatron sounds to me like one of the Transformers.
Yeah, actually, I think there was like a Megatron was a Transformer. Was his name Megatron?
Yep.
That's true. Yeah, these angels, well, and the way I look at it is angels, as much as we as humans are changing, because I've tuned in and asked them questions, and I never asked them about the L part. I have noticed it though, so that's interesting. Makes sense actually. But when I've tuned in and asked them, questions like how come people think that Michael is this certain way and that Ariel's this certain way, but what I'm getting from Ariel is this. And what they helped me understand is that even like when I read a book that someone wrote and they said they channeled an angel, one time I was reading one, and the way the woman was writing a certain part of about the book in relation to God, I just was like, this doesn't feel aligned to, excuse me, it doesn't feel aligned to me. So I tuned in, I asked Ariel, like, what is this? Like, this doesn't really feel right. And so this person, God, I have like freaking hiccups. Why does that happen?
It's okay.
This person is, making a lot of sense for a lot of this paragraph, but then there's this projection that it feels like it's her belief system. And so when I was tuning in, Ariel's like, great awareness. This human has brought in our consciousness through her own filter. And through her own filter, she has created it in the best way she knew how to express it from her own belief system. And so if we have a belief system that's very religious, we will still be able to access and channel the angels, let's say, but we may bring it through our filter and we start to kind of, in a way, dilute the purity of the message and we'll project it out where a lot of it seems true, but some of it's got a little bit of a taintedness to our own belief system. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it makes sense, but I mean, it's I can understand why there are others that don't sound right, and we don't accept it, sort of. But I mean, I mean, Metatron apparently is one of the very high, more important angels.
The way I see it, and from my awareness of the angels, is they're all important,
Yeah.
but there's certain ones that get kind of popular. It's kind of like, let's say, Dr. Wayne Dyer and Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopra. And so maybe like for last 10 years, Deepak was at the top of the game. Like everyone's like, whoa, it's all about Deepak. We listen to what he has to say. And then we get Eckhart Tolle comes in and everyone's like, whoa, no, he is the most aware and wise one. And so we'll start to tune in. But really, the way I see the angels is higher consciousness of who we are. So keep that in mind. These are beings of higher consciousness. We are part of that. And they are basically coming in different timings that will help humans when they're ready. So for a long
Hmm.
time, Archangel Michael, so many humans say how they were very comfortable and knew Michael in their childhood. They were growing up and Michael was a very big part of their journey, or Gabriel, Raphael. And then some, as they get later in their journey, they start talking about Metatron and how Metatron's helping them understand how to access and activate their Merkaba, and how their light bodies are expansive. So what I see it as is that certain angels have different jobs and duties. And so some of the angels will come in and assist with healing. Shamuel will come in and assist with relationships, communication. Gabriel is also a really great messenger angel to help us with expression, maybe written word. But they're all just as valuable. Just like Amnon is just as valuable as Tawnya Love. But Amnon's going to have his little niche and his power and how he will bring his wisdom and how he'll bring his assistance. And then Tawnya Love will have her part of that on this show. We'll have both of our parts. Neither of us are any more important than the other, but we both are contributing in our own signature. So Tawnya Love's signature, I have a certain energy, vibration, and frequency to me and how I assist souls. And Amnon has his signature and frequency and how he assists. But one isn't really better or more superior than the other. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, but I just wanted you to know that I do tell them what to do.
You tell the angels what to do?
Yes.
I believe that about you, Amnon. They told me about you. They're like, watch out. It's kind of bossy. That's so
Oh,
funny.
oh
Well,
boy.
and you know,
All
we
right,
can't. What's that?
go ahead with the card.
Okay. I was just going to make one quick comment on
Oh,
that. We can actually, we don't necessarily need to be praying to angels like begging.
right.
I don't really talk to my angels like that. I'm not like, please, God, if angels, if you think I'm worthy. I don't ever talk to them like that. For me, it's just like I'm talking to all of you on the show. I'm just like, you know what? I'm done. Thank you for the lesson. Boom, it's out of here. Bring in the new stuff. I am ready. What you got? And I
Mm-hmm.
talk to them just like that. I'm just like, okay, what do you have? And then I listen and they're, I'll be like, did I do something wrong, angels? Like, what is the situation? Why is this person being so hateful? And then I'll listen. No, you did not do anything wrong. This person is going through a lot of sadness. They're projecting on you. You need to just stay in your power, stay awake and aware, observe them, be mindful you're not absorbing. So they'll bring me consciousness and understanding, but I talk to them just like I talk to you guys. I'm not like, oh, Heavenly Father, if I'm worthy. I don't do any weird kind of speaking, and that's fine if you guys want to talk like that. I just really feel like they don't need us to do that. What they really are helping us with is to be authentic and just to be us and just to talk to them like you talk to your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why they have me on this show talking to humanity, is because I have this way that I just speak so bluntly and so normal and human. And I'm also accessing that wisdom, and everyone can feel that. But I'm showing you and mirroring to you that it doesn't need to be in some like fancy way. It's just listening, it's just communication. and that we are worthy. We just us being us. I don't have to wear a robe and go in ashram. I don't have to do any of that to be worthy of accessing this wisdom and consciousness. I'm one with it and you're one with it. It's just some of you guys are blocking it. Make sense?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay,
Uh,
so I'm going to show you this. We do an animal card today, crow. And it's because last night in our Sacred Soul Sister Circle, we were doing some burning ceremony and releasing, things that we're ready to clear, that we're aware of, or maybe we're not aware of, but we're ready to clear things that could be blocking us or causing us to feel stuck, like Cherokee talked about. And we did a burn ceremony, and this crow just kept caw, caw, caw the whole time. And then he's flying across us and back and forth. And I'm just like, and suddenly I just stopped and I said, girls, Crow has something to say. And I was like, I'm just going to tune in and tell you what I'm sensing. And so I started to say what I felt Crow was showing up for. And then I remembered a lot of wisdom from a card I had read a while back from my Secret Language of the Animals deck. And so I'm going to read that to you because I feel all of you are at this place. If you're tuning into my show today, some part of you, you're ready to break free. You're ready to go into a higher vibration and a higher alignment with your source. You're ready to love yourself. And this, I feel Crow has a message for all of us and physically, literally showed up last night. So I felt like I was supposed to give Crow some love, and Crow wants the attention, and Metatron can wait his turn. So, okay. So Crow, it represents communication, transformation, story, and universal law. Ancient lore tells us that each animal spirit has a unique gateway through which they enter the sacred circle of life. Each doorway is symbolic of the gift that each is destined to bring to the world. So all of us are destined to bring different gifts to the world. There is a gateway for each of the animal species through which their potential is birthed into reality. All are included except for Crow. Crow is the gatekeeper. And what I love about that is my angels tell me I'm very much like a gatekeeper or a bridge assistant that assists souls in crossing into higher awareness. And so I kind of feel like a connection and resonance with that. Crow knows the essence of all who come to the circle. He meets each at the threshold of their journey and assists their passage into becoming who they really are. So basically, think of Crow as your assistant to returning to your true, authentic self, becoming true to self. That's what you're here to do. Did you just do a crow? Awesome. To the ancestors of the native elders, Crow is the totem of the Great Spirit, the weaver of light and dark, of inner and outer worlds. He is honored with the deepest respect. Crow's pitch-black feathers symbolize pure spiritual strength and creation. With nests perched at the top of the tallest trees, Crow has long been honored for his unique perspective and magic way of seeing and being in the world. Each caw of Crow actually has a different meaning, and the depth of their vocabulary gives us a glimpse at their intelligence. Crows are renowned problem solvers, lock pickers, and tool users. They can survive in almost any situation. I can relate to that one too. When one crow solves or explores something new, others in the clan watch closely and learn. So think of that as like if you have a spiritual teacher, like channeling and then sharing with the world a message, that is what an alignment would be for that, is that we're going to listen, we're going to share that message and spread the word. Crows remember the faces of those who have helped them as well as those who have harmed them. And yes, that is the truth. And it doesn't mean you forgive, but you don't necessarily forget who's done you wrong, because that's part of wisdom, is to remember who had integrity and who withholds that. They not only carry this story with them through their life, but they spread the word so that all in their clan know who to trust and who to be careful of. And this is something that I've observed, how sometimes souls that are threatened by that alignment and that power will try to spread false rumors about people as well. So we all have to practice our discernment. That's a part of every journey. Celebrated by many cultures for their playful and mischievous nature, crows form close friendships with a wide variety of animals. They can be seen surfing the wind, sledding in the snow, and playing with sticks in the wild. And they have even been known to build fake nests high in treetops to confuse their predators. Here's the message. Crow is the guardian and the messenger of your unique sacred story. the keeper of universal law. He stands at the gateway to assist you in the transition from one chapter in your life to another, from one level of being and doing in the world to the next. Think of being in that nautilus shell and you're in that chamber, and that stuck feeling that Cherokee's talking about. You're about to expand into the next chamber. So just surrender and allow yourself that expansion, and watch, it'll happen very naturally. He stands at the gateway to assist you. Okay, I already read that. Da-da-da. As you approach, Crow calls out on your arrival, speaking the story of the steps that you have taken so far, the lessons and the gifts that you have gathered en route to this place. As you reach the threshold, Crow pauses and stares deep into your soul with cold metallic eyes. He asks you what you have learned and why you believe that you are now ready to move on to the new. What is the purpose of your path? So this is a good question for you guys to reflect upon. What have you learned? And why do you feel you're ready to move forward into greater expansion? His caw is sharp and penetrating and at times intimidating, but in truth, he does this only as a game. He is not really here to test you or hold you back, but to celebrate and herald your transition into a new realm of experience. He knows that you are ready, for he has watched your every step of the way and spoken your journey into the great gatherings of the tribe. He knows who you really are. Do you? And that is a really important question. So Crow knows who you each are. Do you know who you are? Who really are you? Are you ready to show that? Crow's penetrating stare and abrasive call is a gift, for it gives us the opportunity to strengthen your resolve and stare right back, stepping forward with even more commitment than before. As you do, Crow breaks into a smile and begins to laugh. The celebration has begun. Another hero has crossed the threshold into the realm of the possible, all smile knowing that the path ahead will rise to greet you. Welcome home. And here's the affirmation if any of you want to write it down. I am a unique being, living my story epic and true. I walk my own way to my own beat, weaving ancient wisdom into the sacred new. So I'll read that one more time. I am a unique being, living my story epic and true. I walk my own way to my own beat, weaving ancient wisdom into the sacred new. So thank you, Crow spirits. Caw. So yeah, so if you guys all want to tune in and just, resonate and like marinate with that question, like tune in and feel it, process it, and do a little meditation to explore what it is that you need to step into more and be authentic, and how can you start really loving you more. And the world's ready for that. That is what the world's ready for, not you to worry about everybody else, but to heal and love self. And that is going to make a profound shift on the planet. So I thank all of you for tuning in today. I really appreciate any of you that can share this video. If you go on YouTube and you want to follow us and like it and then share it, spread it around on Facebook, just like share the love, because that's going to help these messages reach more people. And I really need your help with that. So thank you guys in any way that you feel led to share the messages. And if you're ready for any one-on-one sessions, I still have that special going on for the month of June. Buy 5 sessions, get 2 free. So it's 7 sessions. So contact me, and I wish you guys all the best and have a beautiful, blessed week. Namaste.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCBVI members, The Tawnya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.